Well, here he is on Atlantis Spaceship, our yellow Terran player from Team Liquid, already winning enough games to tie things up again for his team. But does he have what it takes to finish things out? It is none other than Liquid TaeJa. Up at the top of the map. Did I say TaeJa's at the top of the map? No.
I think you're good. I think you're
whatever. There we go, up at the top of the map, the real top of the map. A player that will have to be at his snipiest this game. It is none other than SlayerS Min.
His snipiest.
His snipiest.
Snipiest.
I believe his very first appearance in Team League in the GSTL last year was as a sniper. And I'm trying to remember the map that it was, but he did a very quick 3 hatchery, and it just blew people's minds. They were like, what? 3 hatcheries? No way. I want to say it was... Crevasse, but I could be wrong. That was a long time ago, man. That was the first time that we had seen SlayerS Min in professional StarCraft 2 as well. And I remember talking to Coco at that, and yeah, he was prepared as a sniper for this game, so it's in his repertoire, if you will.
Okay. Well,
and this is, you know, speaking of 3 hatch, this is actually a good map for that.
Yeah, 3 hatch, no pool.
Yeah,
so.
3 hatch before pool in ZVT.
Well, I guess not no pool, but before pool.
3 hatch, and then you never get a spawning pool. You just make
drones, just all drones.
Only engineering bays. You just make so many that they die from broodlings when they kill them. You just get your upgrades, and then
the trick. Yeah, exactly. You just get a bunch of evolution chambers and an attack with 3 carapace drones.
That's all you do. It's so cheap too. You know, if your creep spread is good, you can put engineering bays everywhere.
Yeah,
only 100 minerals.
Easy game.
Not bad.
Well, a little bit of a drone on SCV
just
fight
trying to
here.
build a building. Come on.
Yes,
just let him build the building.
Not going to happen, though. And that drone is going to have to be punished. Well, Command Center is coming up now as this SCV actually repairing up the SCV that was under attack for a while, and then finally going to give up the chase. He knows it's Command Center first. He makes his way into the main, now doing some damage to the SCV building the barracks.
That's right. That's what drones do.
And
jerks.
Look at that. I think we have 3 hatch before pool.
Yeah, not surprising at all. I mean, Min is a macro Zerg.
There we go.
He's a very different type of Zerg player than Coco was. He's going to throw a very different style at Liquid TaeJa. So TaeJa's going to need to be aware of that. But if we're ever going to see that Hellion Banshee 3 command center build, this is going to be the map that we're going to see it on. And TaeJa does like doing that quite a bit, especially on this map. And I feel like it is really good. I feel like all around right now, the openings that Terrans have been kind of developing since the Queen buff, this is probably the most effective at doing damage, stopping the creep spread. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see TaeJa doing something like that. Now, he did get his first gas a little bit earlier than we usually see with that type of build, so we could see something different this time around, too.
I still don't know why there were 2 drones that were sitting around, so, but...
they're, you know, tired.
Okay. All right. No, not sitting around necessarily, just why there were 2 drones inside of TaeJa's natural. But Min is pulling one of those back at the moment. May have followed a scouting SCV or something like that. No, actually, this is TaeJa's first scouting SCV, and he does pick up on the fact that it is 3 hatch before pool.
He's pretty much staring at it.
Okay.
He sees it, yeah.
No way to not see that. It always makes me wonder, though, because Fog of War is a little confusing at times, because, like, if something's sitting right here, it actually can't see the structure that's right here for some reason. I have no idea why. This hatchery is enormous.
Well, because the Fog of War is literally fog, man.
Yeah.
You have to see through
the thickest fog ever. So
it is.
Like San Francisco weeps at that kind of fog. They get fog envy with the amount of
fog envy
with how dark that is.
That's new.
Yeah.
It's like London has fog envy of San Francisco, or maybe vice versa. I've never been to London.
Yeah.
Like, oh, their fog is so thick.
It's so much fog. God.
Man, talk about like the dumbest thing to be envious of in the world. Yeah. Like, I don't like fog. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if San Franciscans are. are jealous of other places' fog.
I mean, people are like, oh man, I'm gonna use Instagram and this fog is gonna look awesome. But
yeah,
other than that, I don't know. Fog's just kind of irritating. That's about it.
Yeah, and I live in the foggiest part of the city.
You know, luckily, we don't have to deal with fog.
No.
We can see everything as observers of this game.
That's right, and we can see that TaeJa is going up to that 3 command center. Hellions into Banshee's build as the starport is just finishing up. Min, on the other hand, just continuing to drone up, going up to 4 queens. Wants to start that creep shred too. We'll certainly need the queens and potentially some sport crawlers here in a bit, though, to adequately defend.
Yeah, now oftentimes we see double engineering bay with this as well from the Terran player. It seems very, very greedy, you know? It seems like you're very vulnerable in the early game. doing something like this, but in reality, you know, you're usually walled off, and with the way that Zergs are playing on this map, like Min is showing us, you just don't really need to worry. Yeah, there's the 2 engineering bays for TaeJa, so he's playing 3 command center, double upgrade into Banshee. The only difference is that he's not getting Cloak this time, it looks like. Unless he starts it right now, he's probably going to skip it because of those double upgrades.
Yeah, no, he just started Stim, so he just took 100 gas out of that. So
that makes sense. And you do see it 2 different ways. Like I mentioned at the start, with him only getting that 1 gas early on, it was kind of probably going to be a no Cloak version of this. Min doing a little bit of pushing here, and oh, he's going to get into the main, actually.
And doesn't look like he's going to kill much there.
Sees
but,
everything.
Oh, he does pick up on a couple of SCVs over at the natural, though. That's 4, 5 SCVs killed. Well done.
Yeah, and you know, think if that attack had been a little bit bigger. Think if that it would have been like a Zenex lifestyle attack with 30 Zerglings or something like that. That could have done some serious damage, yeah. Now back at home, there are some Hellions that have been able to try to get in and do some drone kills, and now plus the Banshee, that's going to be a bit difficult to deal with. Here's where this build really starts to be rough. 1 Banshee can DPS down 1 Queen. Looks like Queens are starting to finally filter in, but yeah, 1 Queen does go down, and a couple of gotta be careful though.
A couple of those drones are going to fall as well.
Goodbye Banshee.
Yeah,
that one's not going to make it out. And the Hellions just kind of watch from afar. They're like, ah, stupid Banshee.
Fog of war, we can't see you. Sorry.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So it's the fog of war. Sorry.
Yeah.
And look at this. Hellions coming from both sides at the 3rd base. Oh, wow. That is an amazingly beautiful attack with those Hellions.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I don't think I've ever seen a Terran player organize a Hellion attack that efficiently before. That was awesome. I mean, he lost the Hellions, but he killed nearly every drone at the 3rd base. That was like maybe not all killed right there, but most of those 17 drones were killed at that 3rd base. That was really well done.
So he just killed
Why don't more Terran players do that?
He actually killed 16 of the workers in that little attack, by the way. So
it's not bad.
16 of the workers, 1 Queen, and a few drones for the cost of 8 Hellions and a Banshee. And that's pretty much what he needs at this point, is to set back that economy.
Would have been nice to save a couple of those Hellions at least, but it wasn't too bad. He is going to pick off the 2nd Queen and then get out of there with that Banshee.
Yeah,
killing off a few more drones. Man, this is why I'm saying this is probably the best opening, I think, in terms of being aggressive and doing early damage to Zerg that there is right now in TVZ. And look at this, simple supply depot wall at the front with just 3 Marines, and that's going to be enough to hold this. He can pull a couple SCVs to repair if he wants to.
Yeah, that is a
He probably
gallery.
should.
Yeah, he actually
TaeJa, you want to actually repair.
Whoops. Okay, well, that's a little bit of a mistake, but he's going to lose a couple of SCVs as a result, but he will be able to clean everything
up. He's a busy guy. Yeah. You know, he's building a lot of other things at once. He's macroing hard. The Banshee is doing damage. It's got 4 kills. It's still to recruit. Maybe someday it'll be a little bit better.
And back on Min's side of things, he's gone back up to 72 drones, but with 20 workers killed in total, that is a significant setback to his to pretty much everything that he's doing right now. He's banking up quite a bit of resources, though, in preparation for the Spire coming up.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for a lot of Mutalisks. It's not a bad map for it at all. You can come in from behind at the natural and at the main. And you can also harass the 3rd with it, too. I suppose if the 3rd's there, then you won't be able to get behind the natural, but you get the idea.
Right.
And he's also getting his infestation pit right away as well, so he's going to be able to use those Mutalisks as sort of a transitionary delaying tactic to go for that later game tech, whether that is Brood Lords most likely, or we could see Ultralisks as well, of course, in the late game. They have been used quite a bit on this map. Now TaeJa, on the other hand, getting his 2nd factory out, getting his bio upgrades and more barracks. So just going to have that really strong, heavy Marine-oriented composition.
And let's see how many Mutas pop out here. 8 to start. He's got a few larvae available, but it looks like he's actually waiting for the infestation pit to finish. So just a few Mutas for now. Excuse me, and eventually transitioning into higher tech. No, okay. Excuse me, now starting to add on more and more as he invests in his upgrades as well. Yeah, I wanted to save enough for 2-2, and I'm surprised he didn't save enough actually for his Infestor upgrade too. He must be waiting a little bit longer for that. Now, the thing is that as far as Infestors go and all that sort of thing, there could be a phase of this game too where Min just wants to stay on Mutalisk, Zergling, Baneling too. If you make a lot of Banelings, it's very good against what TaeJa's doing because TaeJa's not going to have a lot of siege tanks to defend. So TaeJa really at this point is going to need to rely on trying to get these drops past the Mutalisk defenses. And have all those Mutas popped up? They have, starting to make their way in a flock along with a bunch of Banelings and Zerglings down to the bottom part of the map. Of course, TaeJa did pick up on this hatchery, and unfortunately he didn't drop with a full contingent of Marines, or he actually would have been able to take that out. But as it stands now, We do have a lot of Banelings morphing in. Oh, God, that's 18 of them right away.
You know, if you remember in an earlier game, I mentioned that Zergling Baneling attacks at the third base are really popular on this map. And, you know, he waited until he had Mutalisks, but that's only going to make it even better because now, as the Marines run away and try to split, he's going to be doing damage to them with the Mutalisks. This is going to be a strong attack. TaeJa is going to need to control really, really well. The tanks are not sieged up going right now. Oh, man, actually, Min. Oh, the Banelings were all clumped up. Huge mistake by Min. That push is dead now.
Yeah, and
TaeJa loses a tank, but that's about it.
Exactly. I mean, he lost virtually nothing, and he's got pretty good control of this game so far. Supply's looking great. His tech is looking pretty great. He's moving up to 3-3 upgrades. He's got his 4th orbital command finish as well. He's got another command center that's about 2/3 of the way done. Now, Min himself is still sitting on a strong army, and he does have Hive coming up as well. So we will be able to move into those Broodlords. We're going to see that Tier 3 tech momentarily, but he sunk a lot of resources into trying to do some damage there.
You know, I feel like the attack we just saw, and oh man, he's going to pick up a couple Banelings here too. I feel like the attack we just saw really underlines the difference between TaeJa and a lot of the other top players in StarCraft 2 right now. Min has great macro. He's got great planning, but when it comes down to it, he doesn't have the decision-making and unit control that TaeJa does. While TaeJa has all the macro skills that a player like Min has, plus he's got that amazingly good unit control and army positioning decision-making too. And when you combine those two things, that's really what ends up making champions. TaeJa is certainly shaping up to be one.
Yeah, he's looking very
Marines
good.
Split very well.
Uh-oh, this is a big attack coming from both sides. Now we'll see if TaeJa can hold on to this. He target fires out a lot of the Banelings that were sitting in the middle of the map, but everything is getting cleaned up here. Nice fungal growth, pinning down the rest of those Marines in place, and these medevacs are going to get chased down as well. So TaeJa has that cleared up, and that's just the kind of thing that Min needed. But we can see the strength of TaeJa's macro, and he already does have a very large army sitting back at home. Yeah, exactly. Plus he's making 14 Marines at once. Plus he's getting 3-3 and Thors and tanks and more medevacs. He's losing a lot there. Those fungals certainly helping out Min quite a bit. But TaeJa is certainly not out of it just yet at all. He's been able to keep up in supply just fine. I like that drop defense by Min, too. That's kind of cool. Spore Crawler. Plus the patrolling Zerglings is very helpful, of course. Both players having their 4th bases right now. Min is going to be looking at taking his 5th. Yeah, and upgrade. As we can see, the income is very, very good for both players now, as they are sitting on 4 bases at the moment. Pretty even game. But TaeJa's sitting on equal bases with his Zerg opponent, and the advantage of mules is really starting to shine in those income rates. So TaeJa going to be max soon. He does have 2 more starports coming up, so he will be able to produce a sufficient number of Vikings to be able to prepare for the eventual late game Broodlords. You know what? That's going to be bad for those infestors. A couple fungals getting on there, but is it enough? The Marines splitting pretty well. Look at that Marine splitting from TaeJa. That's so good. That's insane. And he picks up a Thor just for fun. He's like, hey, you get to go for a fun ride because you split against those Marines. It looks like the automatons, the thing that was joked about a while ago. I mean, that's how good TaeJa was right there. And he minimizes so much damage from Banelings. Now he's dropping and dealing damage out to this 4th base. It looks like he may be able to get that. You know, I was going to say, too, and here we go, Min trying to clean this up, and he will be able to. TaeJa not able to pick up a lot of that. Might be able to save the Thor, but the mutas are right there. Oh, the Thor dropping out just in time, soaking a ton of Banelings. That was nice. Wow. Yeah, and these Marines actually can hold up underneath the lack of DPS, I guess I should say, from the Mutalisks. And at the same time, TaeJa's swinging around the side. Where does he get all these units from, man? His macro is just crazy. He's got, like, Marines coming. It's like having, like, a second player that's just mining and funneling funds to you. That's what it looks like when TaeJa plays. You know, I was going to say a little bit earlier that Min, you know, up to recently has been doing a good job of keeping his infestors alive, but he has lost a couple recently, and that's going to hurt too. You really do need to keep those infestors alive to not have to spend the gas to replace them. He's trying to transition over into that later game tech. 3-3 is almost done, but he's really hurting for income here. I mean, his bank is still okay right now, but between the corruptors he's going to be making, from the Broodlords he wants to be making, he's going to run out of that bank so fast. And when he does, he's going to need a 4th base, and I don't know if TaeJa's going to let him have it. And we have Ravens coming up, so no upgrades quite yet, so I'm not too happy until I see, of course, the Seeker Missile upgrade. But TaeJa gets this game. And that includes the Ravens. I like it. A player that knows to get Ravens in late game TVZ right now, that's a player who gets this game. Probably going to, I mean, we'll see if he gets a Corvid reactor, Seeker Missile type thing.
but we've seen Ravens use extremely efficiently against large groups of corruptors with that Seeker missile.
And TaeJa going to drop and continue to do damage. He's got most of his army in tow as well, so a little counterattack around the side isn't going to do too much damage.
I mean,
looks like Min is trying to run around the side, but directly into a planetary fortress.
Yeah, he's got a, well, these are 3/3 lings, but he should be able to repair it. The Banelings might, oh wow, great target. Did he target fire with that?
He just target fired his planetary fortress.
That was absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
TaeJa killing the 4th base again. TaeJa has Min in an absolute TVZ catch-22 right now, because Min has to make units to kill off the army of TaeJa to get his 4th base, but that's only going to delay what he wants to do, which is take more bases and get more late game tech. So he has to either choose to take a bunch of bases and leave himself very vulnerable, or put a lot of effort into taking that one base, and then even though he has the base, he's not going to be able to make the units that he wants to.
Boom.
And like I said, man, players that understand late game TVZ, they're getting that Seeker missile now more and more.
Yeah, a Seeker missile upgrade. Researches is, I don't know what that word is. Researches is.
Reese's Pieces is
pretty quick. So he'll have that momentarily, and he will have enough energy on the Ravens to make use of that. Yeah. Look at the split once again. The tanks are going to be dealt with pretty efficiently, but he has a lot of bio units left over. He's not counterattacking in any other place, so he's just going for hatcheries and units at this stage of the game. But he is drawing a lot of energy.
Oh, he kills that 3rd base, even though there's obviously another hatchery right there. It's a little bit longer for the drones to mine from. It's not a huge deal. But again, that's less larva. It's just a big pain for TaeJa, and he's starting to make a lot of Ravens. I'm getting excited, man. If we see Seeker Missile go off in this game,
yeah,
I'm going to be a very happy person.
Yeah, it's pretty much going to be the best TVZ I've seen in a while if that happens. I don't care how the rest of the game goes. TaeJa's been pretty solidly ahead through most of this game, but it'll still be amazing. This is deadly, though.
He's going to kill a lot of tech here, actually.
Yes,
He's going to get the spawning pool. He has a very good chance of taking out the Baneling nest as well. Units finally getting there. Oh, target firing and Infestor. Great move by TaeJa. He just is everywhere, man.
Yeah.
He's everywhere at once. His multitasking is just through the roof.
Yeah, this is an unbelievable performance. I mean, TaeJa, we've seen it time and time again in this team league. We've seen it in other tournaments as well. But TaeJa is just on top of his game. He is on top of the StarCraft world right now.
That's right. I mean, watching TaeJa really reminds me a lot of how dominant GG. There it is. He's just done enough damage. That's it. And TaeJa giving the lead to Team Liquid. They are up 4-3. Team Liquid is 1 game away from making it to San Francisco to